Okay. Hello, Michael and Josh. Please tell the audience about your movie Tenzin. Why did you guys want to come together and direct this one?
Mike, you want to go first?
No, you do too. You do.
Uh, well, Mike and I had known each other for a long time through music, and Mike through film, and I had aspirations to make film. And when we heard this story of street violence in the Tibetan community, and we lived downtown in the same neighborhood, and I was interested in Buddhism, a practitioner, and Mike into mind and consciousness and all these ideas and themes. And so something about those two themes locked in, and we went, well, this is worth making our first film, and together around this. And I guess Mike liked me as a creative, and I liked Mike as a creative. And so we were like, let's do it. And then it took, I don't know, 12 years.
Oh my God. 12 years? So what does it feel like to basically, do you feel like you're past the finish line? Is there a sense of closure? What's that like?
I feel like we are past the finish line, and it's. I mean, I was just last week finishing up. Like we had, had to make like 3 trailers for the film, so I like just right at this very moment, I sort of feel like there's a finish line, but not really, because like now we're editing these this media day that we all got together. So I'm still like working on it as like a technician, but so it's done. But no, I do feel like we passed the finish line for sure. Hey, Josh, what do you think?
I mean, Mike's been doing so much of the like hard nuts and bolts, like just on every level, like pushing this thing. Like I've been giving input and a lot, but a lot of Mike's role has been so intense for a while now. I don't know how he feels. I feel like because it's premiering, I feel the energy has shifted. I know it's in theaters. I know it's getting a chance to be in theaters. It's going to be on TV, and we're doing this press stuff. So that feels like an arrival to me. But I hope it has a life beyond this. Like I hope it keeps going, So, but it does feel like, at least for me, the hard part is over, and I hope for Mike that's true as well.
Yeah.
Would you guys do a audio commentary on a Blu-ray?
Would we do that?
Yeah.
I think we would. Yeah, we would. I think we actually enjoy talking about the movie because we've grown so much doing the movie. Like Josh, I think you just said, it's been like 12 years, but I mean, it's been probably like 6 solid years of like constantly thinking about it and working on it. And now it's actually quite fun and like freeing to talk about it and talk about any element of it and talk about how it started and how we learned so much from the Tibetan community and learning about writing and learning about directing. It was our first film, so it's just been only growth, only about ourselves, about our relationships, about our patience, about how do you collaborate with someone that is not yourself on such a personal level. I think Josh and I sort of became like really good friends on this project, like brothers sort of thing, like we care about each other. So yeah, Blu-ray, whatever, Blu-ray vacation,
You name it.
It's fun. It's fun to be done, but it's fun to talk about it because we worked hard.
I'd be interested in hearing both of you saying what the other one brings to work respectively. How do you guys complement each other?
Well, I mean, I've overthought of myself as a director, and I really overestimated myself before coming into this, and then I learned so much from Mike because of the massive amount of time he's put into film on every level, from editing. I mean, Mike essentially, no bullshit, like let's just say what it is. Like he edited, sound score, down to like aesthetic stuff, doing Photoshop things we need to do for press, like and the hands-on stuff, and even in shot blocking and when we're shooting and working with actors. I mean, yes, I directed, yes, I wrote multiple scripts, yes, I had this initial big vision and idea, and I know the tone and energy and stuff, but so did he have tone and energy. I just learned filmmaking from Mike, and I think I brought a visionary piece myself, but which is not valuable. It's very valuable, and it's not that I didn't direct or engage in the actual on the ground film stuff, but I just saw much filmmaking from Mike, even producing, that I could never overestimate that or overstate that, and I don't need to, because I'm so happy to have learned so much, and I'm not. We also had a lot of conflict, so it's like, like I, it's great because I got to get humbled in working with Mike.
Beautiful.
Josh, thank you very much. Holy.
But it's true, man. Like, I came in, I'm the director of that, and then in the end, it's like I just wanted it to get done, and we did it.
Yeah. Yeah. Is it my turn? Do I
Yeah,
say something?
now you say something.
Better be good. Be really nice.
No, but honestly, like when I shoot in other countries, for example, you need someone there. You need someone on the floor. You call them a fixer, or you call them, your point person, or whatever it is. Like, this movie wouldn't have been made if it wasn't for Josh. Like, we would have never made this movie. I would have never wanted to make this movie, and the movie just wouldn't have been made. And there were years where Josh was trying to make the movie, even though I was his partner, but I wasn't making the movie with him the first 3 or 4 years. He really had the heart. He has the passion. In the end, I'm the logistics and the technical, but Josh has always been the big picture. So how does he complement me? He keeps me grounded, and he is the big picture. And there's nothing that I could do or write or say that could not go through his eyes and come through him and then come back to me. There's just nothing. Like, every single scene, anything that sometimes I did a little bit of writing because I was editing. So I would write subtitles, even though the words weren't said. I would write words to make the film work, because Josh and I had never written a script before, and we were coming at it fresh. Though I had a lot of set days, like, a lot of set days, because I'm a cinematographer. So I've been on sets for like years, like 20 years or something. That doesn't matter. Like, Josh and I we had both not written a script, and I'll tell you, like, I've shot like 13 features, maybe 14 features. It means nothing in directing your first feature. It is so difficult to make something cohesive, and it takes 2, 4, 6, 10, 20. We had like all of the people around us, any friends, but yeah, like, I would say that it had to go through his eyes to come back in order for it to work. So it always was a funnel through. Sometimes it would start with him. Like, sometimes I was doing the work, so I'd have to like send him things, and in the end, if he looked at the film and he just didn't feel good about something, it was like a bigger picture thing. I knew that there was a problem with that section of the film, and I would have to work it until Josh was happy. So he did, like, all stuff aside, like, you Josh, you fully were 100% my 50-50 collaborator, even though I might have like done a little bit more like button pushing for a
It's
couple
more than
years.
button, but I appreciate it. Yeah,
no, but it is the truth. It is the truth. We did do it together. I could not have done it. It would have never happened. So we complement each other in that way. I'm more of the technical person. Like, I'm very technical. So I can execute many levels of technical things in the world of film, but I never I'm inspired to say or do any one thing. I need like someone like Josh to be like, I want to do this. And then I get excited and I get pumped, and then I put myself into it. But without Josh, without his spark, there was no project.
Okay. That's really good stuff. It's nice that you guys both appreciate each other so much. One time I talked to a couple of co-directors, and I said, hey, what do you guys make another movie together? And one of them said, I don't think so.
Oh, we've been there before. I mean,
okay. Yeah. Well, it's a long slog, I guess. I got you on a good year.
Yeah, that's well put.
Exactly.
That's funny stuff. Okay, so I'd be very interested though to learn a little bit about what you guys learned about the Tibetan community.
Well, a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
Some like infinity.
Yeah. I mean, going in from the projections one has based on what one might know of these cartoon or caricaturist things about Tibet itself and Buddhism, Tibetan Buddhism, and passivity, and the idea of passivity in the face of violence, and the Dalai Lama. I mean, then you have just a regular new Canadian, semi-new Canadians, a lot of them, and they're also by way of going to Dharamsala, so they're also Indian. Uh, so it's a different culture in some ways than interior Tibet. So then you're learning about that. And then it's Toronto. So you're really just learning about Torontonians in this case, who happen to be Tibetan. So then you have all that, the diaspora, right? Like my family come from an immigrant group too. So you're getting a mix of everything. And you can never learn it all just by immersing and all that. But I would say, because of the film, we got to learn about the complexities of this new Canadian experience, the political thing driving a collective idea for a free Tibet, but then there's differences of opinion of how to achieve that. And then there's just people living their lives here. So we learned a lot, and we were invited in, and we were really lucky to have that, because it's like such a blessing. First of all, because it's such a beautiful aspects to the culture, and I practice like Tibetan Buddhism, but Tibetan Buddhism necessarily the same as just Tibetan culture. Like there's both. They're linked, but they're not the same. So, or they're not just one thing. So I just feel like Mike and I and our producers Brian and Julie, we all got this amazing opportunity to be part of a deep relationship, like a family relationship. And I feel really like, I just feel so warm and blessed. Like, it's been great, like the friends we made. So yeah.
And what is Buddhism for you personally? What does it do for you?
Well, okay, Mike's like spinning in his chair. He's like, how long does this guy gonna give Josh to talk?
No, but it did it, prior to, I'll just say something like, prior to making this movie, I never even thought of, really took seriously the idea of meditating or being present, or like understanding that it's not that I personally, my ego is like, for the most part, takes over, and then but never really like being watching like my thoughts and being like, oh, that's a thought. Like, I never even like contemplated the idea of doing something like that. To so And then when speaking with all of the various Tibetans that we've met, and then just hearing that some of them do it and some of them don't as well, that it's not like everyone is meditating just because they're Tibetan. And just hearing though their practice, everyone's practice is different. And then just like, I just never thought the way that I think now, to be honest. And Josh has a lot to do with that, because he taught me a lot about, his practice, because Josh has a very, long practice. He's been doing it for a while. So I learned from him. Then I started reading books to try to do research about Tibetans and their culture and their practice. And through that, I actually have my own version of it that I would have never had. So, I mean, anyway, that's my answer to that, just for me. Like, they did influence me. Everyone in the entire community that I've met have influenced me, and their kindness. And we're just all humans, and we're we all have our flaws, and it's just, anyway. You go, Josh.
No. I mean, yeah, you said human. It's a practice of getting more human. So that's about like, we talk about compassion, and then there's the other layers of seeing reality for what it is, like non-projected reality. So that is important to me, because I guess I suffered a lot. Like, we all suffer. Like, we're all suffering a lot, right? It's called samsara. Like, it's no way out of it. It doesn't matter how good things get, you end up losing them, blah, blah, including our body. We die. And when you really grasp that, not just intellectually, but go, well, what am I going to do about it? I think for me and millions of people in different spiritual traditions all try to do this, but Buddhism is great to me because it gives you a lot of practical stuff to do about it. So it's like not just meditating, but the transmutation of like, you're like, okay, my emotions, I'm full of anger and jealousy. You can do stuff about it. And And then you can go, well, that stuff was in the way of me perceiving properly. So I just don't want to suffer as much, and I don't want others to suffer as much. And then that culture, ancient system was like, well, this is a kind of amazing way to get out of that if you're interested. And then there's another layer, which is enlightenment, but we won't get into that.
Okay, yeah, I don't think we can get that in 2 minutes. Guys, thanks so much for your time. I really appreciated it. I just want to ask one more question though. I want you to say something about your lead, because I thought he did a really good job, and he was a great example of minimal acting and how less can be more. That's what I felt.
Go ahead, Mike. Well, he was fantastic, even though he took he actually took every moment and thought the moments through and worked. Sometimes he was bigger and we brought him down. You know what I mean? We chose to and sometimes we wanted him to be bigger. He naturally is like quite subdued as a person. Like but obviously he has like big emotional reactions, and he can have those reactions. I mean, he naturally, when we did the audition with him, he naturally had, you could tell that he would be believable on the screen, like, because he's very believable. We auditioned a bunch of people, and everyone's great, but he really just could be naturally sad, naturally, all of the basic emotions, like sad and stillness and angry, without being so giant. But he really could do a lot with his eyes, and we just like allowed that, and we didn't push him in any drastic direction. We just sort of kept him where his comfort zone was, which was that. And to me, he just like pulled it off like beautifully.
I thought so. And we're gonna have to leave it there, guys. Thanks so much for your time, and I recommend everyone check out Tenzin. It's a lot of fun.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Michael.
My pleasure.
See you later. Bye.